What was good design? Saara, 1925 to 1984. Saara Hopea was born in Porvoo, Finland in 1925. Hopea was a designer who had powerful traits in a vast range of areas in design. Her family was a big influence in her starting design, with her father, Ocean Hopea, owning a well-known gold and jewellery store in her hometown of Porvoo. Her previous 4 generations also had an involvement in goldsmithing. Saara's early career started in the field of furniture and lamp design before really exceeding in the area of glass, jewellery, silverware and enamelling, such as ceramics and decorative arts. Many in the industry spoke highly of Hopea, with David McFadden, the curator of decorative arts at New York's Cooper Hewitt Museum, mentioned she was a natural-born designer who was sophisticated yet sensitive in her designs. While the Second World War impacted her study, Saara did complete her studies at the Central School of Arts and Crafts in Helsinki, focusing on interior design. She completed this in 1946 and then commenced as an independent furniture designer. It was in 1948 when Saara began working for designer Paavo Tino, where her strengths were in draftsmanship. Paavo was a teacher at the art school and had recruited her for assistance with his designs. She worked under Tino for approximately 3 years, with a lot of her work on designing and sketching lamps. It was in the 1950s in which Hopea's direction really changed. In 1951, Saara was approached by fellow famous Finnish designer Kai Frank. The impact of these two on European design was incredible. Before we get into Hopea's imprint in the 50s, it is important to understand Kai Frank, the designer. Frank was really only concerned in the concept of a design. His designs were basic, minimal, with simple forms, but were very functional. Saara first started with furniture design in the Helsinki showroom before she was accepted to work at Nuutajärvi glass factory just outside Helsinki in 1952. Kai Frank was a creative director after his corporation, Saara, bought the factory in 1950. It was at this time when Hopea collaborated with Frank to rediscover the design world. With glass being the underlying material for Hopea's designs, she started designing popular items from 1952, including glassware using blown glass to create simple glass forms in multiple colours. The Second World War was said to have affected the goals of designers, resulting in a democratic objective of affordability and of common use. Both Hopea and Frank's objectives were to create everyday objects of more beauty for all consumers. Saara was quoted, "We had a shortage of almost everything in post-war Finland. We had to design things that we really needed. At the same time, we also designed objects for expeditions in Finland and abroad." Finland proved successful on the international design scene in the 50s and 60s, with numerous designers winning top prizes at the Triennale di Milano, which was an art and design expedition held in Milan, Italy. Hopea earned silver medals at these expeditions in 1954 and 1957 for 2 glassware items. The 50s were known as the golden age of Finnish design. In 1960, Hopea moved to the US, where she eventually married American Hoppy Earntrach. In the few years spent here, she developed some enamelling techniques, also focusing on silver and gold jewellery design. With her father passing away, she also took over as artistic director at the family jewellery business. In 1967, She settled back in her hometown of Porva to concentrate on creating pieces for the business. Throughout most of the 70s, Hopea fell back to an interest in the crafts and designed and worked on textiles, brooches, rings and more enamelling. Saara passed away in 1984. Saara Hopea's designs feature in the Museum of Modern Art exhibition 1944 to 1956, one iconic item produced by Hopea, which also won her one of her medals at the Triennale di Milano, was the stacking glasses she designed in 1951. The stacking glasses, which were the first of its kind, were created with blown glass, serving an underlying concept consisting of minimal design. As in the name, the tumblers stack, making for useful storage. The glasses work on basic shapes and geometry and were designed for mass production. Looking at Dieter Rams' 10 principles for good design, we can compare similarities with these and those of Hopea's stacking glasses. Ram's second principle, good design makes a product useful, can be seen in her design. The stacking glasses are functional and practical. The glasses designed in the 1950s were designed as everyday objects and were made to be accessible to everybody. The obvious ideal of stacking the glasses were useful for storage. Looking at Dieter's fourth principle, good design makes a product understandable. While the majority of drinking glasses are obvious to the eye, it is Hopea's clarity in her design that is effective. Her ideas could have said to been instilled from Kai Frank, who began every one of his designs by firstly understanding the underlying concept. This leads us to Ram's seventh principle, good design is long-lasting. Although Saara did use some colours in her glasses that aren't really common today, the glasses do avoid being fashionable and they do keep form and shape, which you see in today's society. They aren't out of date and they are durable and resilient. The Nutartajavi glass factory is still running today and still producing finish art glass, putting the 50s designs into perspective. Ram's ninth principle is that good design is environmentally friendly. Glass itself is a sustainable material. Glass is a recycled product and is closed-looped over and over again. Glass also preserves taste and vitamins, perfect for a drinking glass. Good design is as little as possible was Ram's 10th principle. The basic tumbler design really took off in the 1950s, showing minimal but modernist design. The stacking glasses had minimal design, for example no handle, used basic colours and forms, and the shapes were of simplicity. After discussing multiple designers and their design beliefs, there are many things learnt that can be used in my designs. An obvious one is that sometimes good design needs to be minimal but yet serviceable. I will learn a lot from this era of design and I hope I can use their approach in my designs. Thank you for watching.